Thanks to the X gene running through their veins, mutants can have an incredible variety of powers. Some have simple powers like wings and shooting energy blasts, but some possess godlike abilities. This is due to genetic manipulation by cosmic entities known as Celestials, who experimented on humanity millennia ago. After a long period of evolution, a portion of the human race awakened these mutations, creating a separate race on Earth. There aren't many mutants in the world compared to humanity as a whole, but those at the top of the power scale can surpass all of humanity and even entire cosmic entities. So, get ready and let's take a look at the 8 mutants feared for their reality-altering powers. Number 1. Jamie Braddock. Jamie Braddock is the first mutant on the list, responsible for manipulating reality at a quantum level. This means he sees reality as invisible strings that only he can perceive. By manipulating these strings, he can alter all of reality as he wishes. He is an insane character and believes that everything happening to him is just a dream in his head. But for someone who can do almost anything, thinking it's all a dream is quite justifiable, to be honest. In the past, he needed to be near what he wanted to manipulate to affect its strings. But after his resurrection, his powers increased, and he no longer has this limitation. His powers know no bounds. He's traveled through time, created objects out of thin air from his imagination, and even demonstrated the ability to use magic. This last ability was shown very recently and was an isolated case, but it's worth mentioning as it might be developed further in the future. Number 2. Nate Gray. Nate Gray was a mutant created genetically perfect by Mr. Sinister to combat the apocalypse, but his powers exceeded expectations. He might be the only living mutant who could go head-to-head with Legion at full power. At his peak, he created a new reality where mutants lived in paradise. His telepathy is so potent that he effortlessly communicated with the entire planet, something not even Professor Xavier usually does. And when he does, it's through Cerebro. It's been said that he's omnipotent, and as if that weren't enough, he's also been a host to the Phoenix. He can see and manipulate the flow of time using his mental powers to enhance his physical attributes. Manipulating matter, space, time, people's minds, and much more is child's play for him. It's no wonder that at his full power he was compared to Jean Grey with the powers of the Phoenix. Yes, the guy has the level of a cosmic entity that devours stars when hungry. The title of Omnipotent is not an exaggeration for him. Number 3. Legion. Legion is the fearsome son of Professor Xavier, born with the incredible ability to generate powers, including reality manipulation. He ranks among the most powerful reality manipulators in all of Marvel, and is possibly the most powerful living mutant. He's even erased himself from all existence and returned several issues later. In his battle against the Titan Uranus, it was established that their confrontation could destroy the entire Marvel multiverse. They were evenly matched in power, with Uranus being nothing less than the most powerful Eternal of all, and Thanos' grandfather. Uranus was sweeping the floor with Omega-level mutants, yet he couldn't do anything against the mutant there to defend Krakoa. If it weren't for the character's mental instability, he would undoubtedly be the greatest of all mutant weapons, and the mightiest weapon on Earth, alongside the Sentry, Hulk, Thor, and other superpowered heroes. Number 4. Mr. M. Absalon Mercator, or Mr. M as he's known to friends, awakened his powers at a young age when he turned inside out a boy who was bothering his cousin, leaving him that way for 3 days. As he grew up, he started using his powers to fix objects in exchange for money until he got involved in a shootout and was unjustly confronted by some X-Men. He was one of the few mutants who retained their powers after the Scarlet Witch erased the X gene from mutants, and the remaining mutants began to treat him as a savior. His power is molecular level reality manipulation, and among his feats, he's been able to repair objects, heal people, create objects out of nothing, biological manipulation, self-resurrection, and power negation. Obviously, with his powers he can do much more, but among Omega-level mutants, he's the one who appears the least in the comics. But do you know of something even more powerful than any mutant mentioned in this video? Your like and subscribe! That way you'll learn all about mutants, the Marvel and DC universes, and everything that comics have to offer. Number 5. Matthew Malloy. Matthew Malloy was such a powerful mutant that Beast said he was beyond Omega level, and Professor Xavier stated he was the most powerful mutant ever recorded. He became so powerful, yet so uncontrollable, that it was necessary to go back in time and prevent his birth. After his wife was killed during a Skrull invasion, he inadvertently killed his sister-in-law in an energy explosion when his powers manifested. Cyclops compared him to characters like Franklin Richards and the Dark Phoenix. Matthew was described as having the power of a god with control over life and death, time and space. He can manipulate matter, teleport, resurrect, read minds, and much more. Undoubtedly one of the most powerful beings ever created by the publisher, and unfortunately he is unlikely to appear again after being erased from the timeline. Number 6. Proteus. Proteus is the son of Professor Xavier's longtime friend, Moira McTaggart. His powers involve reality manipulation at a psionic level. With these abilities, he joined a select group of 5 mutants responsible for bringing deceased mutants back to life. He also lacks a physical form, existing as a being of pure psionic energy with a humanoid shape similar to an ordinary human. For a long time, he was one of many villains the X-Men had to deal with, but currently he's one of the allies of the mutant nation of Krakoa, and one of the most significant. For a long time, he needed to possess hosts to act since he had no physical form. The more he used his powers, the more these hosts burned from the inside out due to the immense power. Currently, he no longer seems to depend on this, although he still lacks a human form. Number 7. Mad Jim Jaspers. Jim is one of those characters so powerful that Marvel prefers to forget he exists to avoid any hassle. When he does appear, nobody is certain if he actually showed up, if it's an illusion or just some clone. His powers surpass even cosmic entities, with his manipulation of space exceeding three-dimensionality itself. He can distort all the laws of physics across multiple universes simultaneously if he loses control. In addition to manipulating his own form and bodily structure, he can bring dead characters back to life and bring to life beings he imagines. His only limitation is the need for energy to manipulate reality. If he's taken to a place without energy, he becomes completely powerless. Currently, the character's whereabouts are unknown, but despite being nearly impossible to kill, I doubt Marvel will bring back such a complicated character. Number 8. Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards earns an honorable mention on this list because until last year, he was considered a mutant. And it's worth noting that he held the title of mutant for a considerable period, being the first child to be born in Marvel. He lost his mutant status when he lost his powers, revealing that Professor Xavier had been manipulating his genetics to make him a mutant all along. Now that his powers have disappeared, his body has returned to its original state, where he's just a normal human without the X gene. But while he still had his mutant body, so to speak, he was powerful enough to injure Mephisto himself, one of Marvel's most powerful demons. He also fought against the Celestials and recreated much of the multiverse that had been destroyed by Dr. Doom. If it weren't for the fact that he's now considered human, he would be, alongside Legion, the most powerful mutant of all time. And this way, we know who the main mutants with reality alteration powers in Marvel are. Leave in the comments who your favorite is, or if someone was missing from the list. Don't forget to like, share, and leave suggestions for more videos so we can grow together with the best nerd channel on YouTube.